I want to talk a little bit about the milieu or the context and time that Hegel was writing in. Okay? In the Phenomenology of Spirit, he has this section called Observing Reason. In it, he's looking at things like reason and observation specifically, and how these works. When we observe things, what is it we're doing? How do we infer relations and laws between these things from our observations, and so on. In it, he has a section where he talks about the so-called sciences of physiognomy and phrenology, which is basically looking at a person's facial features and bones on their skull to determine their psychology and personality. A very disgusting and racist practice. Hegel is extremely, extremely critical of these. So let me just read you a section where he, completely obliterates these stances. He says, however much, therefore, a person is told, you, your inner, are constituted in this way, because your bones are so constituted, still this means nothing but that I regard a bone as your actuality. The riposte to such a judgment, namely a slap in the face, was mentioned in the case of physiognomy, initially brings the soft parts out their high regard and lofty position. And it only proves both that neither of them is true in itself, and that they are not the actuality of spirit. So earlier he was talking about physiognomy, and he advocated for slapping a person in the face, who if they even bring it up. He goes on to say, the retort here would really have to go as far as smashing the skull of the person who makes a statement like that, in order to demonstrate to him, in a manner as palpable as his wisdom, that for a person, a bone is nothing in itself and is even less his true actuality. So yeah, he's advocating for extreme violence against anybody that takes these so-called sciences seriously. So yeah, Hegel has a sense of humor. There are a bunch of other bits throughout this book where he just goes off like that. Come through, it's in 10 days if you want to hear more of his funny little tidbits. But the point I want to take away from here is that Hegel was writing within a certain context, the 19th century and whatnot, and within a certain time, and responding to certain things that to us nowadays might not be so relevant. Things like phrenology are a thing of the past, although sadly the spirit of such sciences in some places is still alive today, though they're always in the fringes. But what I want to take out of Hegel is rather not the things he's talking about, but more his method, because it's his method that was very, very influential. And to this day, its ghosts and specters are still haunting us. It's not the particular things he talks about are, a product of his milieu. And we should take them as just that and focus more on his methodology. Okay? And the other thing we should also take from him is, if you ever see anybody advocating for phrenology or anything like it, smash their skulls in, Hegel's all for that, and so am I. But yeah, the live stream is going to be on the 27th. Come through if you want to hear more about this and more about what he thinks of observations and how observing and laws and reason are all related to each other and related to self-consciousness and things like that, and what he thinks of these. I think it's very, very interesting and